I've just brought my doors in here because I'm running out of space. I needed the table to make them beads. I've got my numbers on the front, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I wrote them on the end while I was sanding, but when I cut these off I might lose those. They're going to get sanded and painted anyway. So I've drilled little holes. 4, 3, 2, 1. They're only little holes, they're only about 5mm deep, but I'll be able to see them when it gets painted. I just needed to reposition these to, couldn't have them hanging over here. But I was also curious as to, they're sitting flush at that end, sitting flush at that end, and that's pretty good, is that? So that's good. I'm going to find a timber to put under here. They're only going to be there overnight, but I don't want them sagging. Piece of aluminium, perfect fit. This is one of the panels that's going to go in here. Bit like that. The beading I cut at just short of 20mm shy, so I've got to cut a little rebate on it. This is a piece of offcut off the doors, and I've got to create that. They stick out a little bit more than I wanted. I was going to cut a little rebate in this so that it sits over that. Might run them through the planer. Take off just a fraction so they're not sticking out so much. And cut a rebate. But if I sit them in the planer that way up to take a bit off there, are they going to sit? Or are they just going to want to cockle over? Could put two together. Would they hold each other up? That seems quite solid actually. I've only got enough to do the doors, so I ain't got any waste. Right, so I run them through the planer. So that bit there is a bit thinner than that one there. And it doesn't stick out quite so much. And what I'm going to do is cut like a little rebate on here. I only need about 15mm to cover the beading of the double glaze unit. Double glaze unit's going to be 18mm as well. And this ply is probably only about 17mm. So I'm going to give it a little bit. It's partly why I planed it down, because these need to come out a fraction. A little bit like that. On this ply I'll just fill that up with glue or sealant or something. This ply it's close to 18mm. Need some glasses. So what I've done on here is marked 18mm from the centre. I'll cut these with a little rebate. Just got to make sure I get them the right way around now. I made them square because then I can't get it wrong. But now they're off, so make sure I get that right. Put squiggle on. They all look right. If I turn one over. Fuck. See, that one's high now. Right, just checking again. Bit paranoid that I've cut one the wrong way around. I had one of the little ones that I did first on there to remind me which way to put it in. They're all done. So those. Just sit on like that. Makes it a little awkward for mitering because you've got to work to that point, but I'll just run a pencil line on the outside. I'll show you when it comes to it. So it's going to look a bit like that. She only wants quite a simple beading, so I think that'll be alright. This cutter's got like a little piece here that cuts a rebate. I'm not going to be using that. It's quite a long cutter as well, so I've got to turn the speed down a little bit, otherwise it'll flop around. I'll cut the little rebate and show you. You see it cuts this little rebate for the strip to sit in, so when the door's shut you don't see the strip from the outside. But I don't like having this little lip, because quite often my timbers are a bit thinner than this, so that don't work anyway. It puts this cut too far over here, and if it's got a little skinny lip on it, it'll just break off, so I'm not going to use that. I'm just going to cut the groove. So you see it's got that little bit on it, holds quite well. And when the door's shut, you see that dark line, but I don't mind that. I prefer it than having like a little lip. So this piece is the thickness of the doors. I'm going to have to move these a little bit, that's why I'm screwing them on. I think I'll screw them on anyway, but I'll have to move them back just a little bit for the weather strip that's going to go in. So I cut a miter on one end. Both the top and the bottom of these strips are in. They're just square cut at the ends. So that's up to there. That miter's up to there. I marked it here. Put a little mark on it just to show me which way I want the miter to go. And I'll cut that. I'm going to spring this in, so I want it, if anything, fractionally long. Just a fraction long. So I'll cut the other one, same. Then I'm going to scribe this. And so that's two of those cut. And I'm going to cut along this line. You can use your pencil if you want, just highlight that edge. But what I'm going to do, instead of cutting it square across, I'm going to cut it slightly back like that. And when I spring this in, that front point will dig into this bit of wood a little bit, you know, in the mitre in the corner there. And when it does open up, if it does shrink at all, it's just pulling away from that bit which is already dug in there, you know, and the joint's as tight as you can get. Gives a nice neat joint as well. I just wobbled a little bit on that edge. But I can just to be honest, I probably won't bother. This is the other end. I can't turn it around because the shed isn't long enough that way. So, upside down so. Right, because I cut it back at an angle, when it gets sprung in place it'll tighten up that. I'm just going to put 3 screws in this for now. I'm going to spring it in a minute. I'm going to spring it in a minute. But to get this centre one, I quite often don't measure, you know, from there to there. Just balance it in your hand. On a finger, on one finger. It feels a bit heavy at that end. So we got 117, just short of 117 there. And I reckon this end might be shorter. 110. 70mm out. Like I say, it was heavy that end. big hammer. That's when I was setting up the saw. Should have cut that off. Cut the miter first on that end and then I'd be able to trim that off because there is a bit of waste. But too late now. I've just put a screw in each end. I forgot to drill the middle hole. And because I didn't measure it, it doesn't really matter. You see where this one is? I'm going to try and put it same distance across. I would even maybe measure if it really mattered. But you want your holes to be something like parallel. It just looks better. It normally adds a little bit of structural strength to other things as well, you know, if you do everything in parallel. And it can make work a little bit easier sometimes, you know, if you do everything in parallel. You put one in that side, you put one in the other side exactly the same. You know, there. You see the pencil line just on the point there. I'll take them back out, get some glue on them and pin them in place. I can do that little one. So what I do is cut one mitre on one end, then I can offer that up and mark this end. Right, these ones I can't spring them in, so I've just got to get them in as close as I can. But they look quite neat. Glue and pin them as well. Turn it over, do the same. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on. It does squeeze out. I put a bit too much on the other door, but it's fairly easy to clean, and at least I know that this little lip's glued on. A bit on the miters of course as well. And I always take my beads out and put them, you know, where they're going to go so they can stay in order, because they could be different lengths, you don't want to be swapping them around. A little gap under there. It's only about 1mm or so. 2mm maybe. But I was thinking more about my glass. My double glazed unit's at 18mm. And between there and there I've got about 20mm, so that'll give me 1mm of silicone each side. Or one side, whatever. For the moment I've just stuck a single pin in. So these are still loose. So I just cut a couple of strips and put a groove in one for this weather strip. This is going to go down the centre of the doors. It's just wide enough. So that will go on one door. The other one will go on the other door. But at the moment there I've got about 17mm. Down here, 17 to about here. But then it tapers into more like 15mm there. I can't really hang these doors because I need to lift them up to get the screws in the hinges. So I'm going to mark the hinges. And then I think I'm going to do them on site where I've got a bit more room. Then I'll have to maybe plane a little bit off there to make these fit. So they're nice and parallel up. But it's looking alright. It's got loads of glue to clean off. And that's where there seemed to be a lot on, so I tried scraping it off with chisel, but that was a mistake. Loads of sanding now to do on that. It's easier when it's just bits like this, where I can just do that sort of thing. Alright, so all the beads are sanded. I've done it all with this. Get into the edges, get into the moulding, onto that edge. Same there. Fold it over to do the curves. You can even get into the little corners on the ends. But that'll do for me. Once I get the first coat of paint on, it'll show up any blemishes that need filling or touching up, like the pinholes and whatever.